So a lot of you ask me, how did you get into this business? And sometimes I'll talk about it, but I figured, hey, get to know me a little bit. So how did I get into this business, and how did Zahler Properties come to be what it is now? I guess like most people that get into real estate, kind of by accident, kind of by default, if you will. Nobody, I think, grows up and as they're a 4-year-old say, I want to be a real estate agent when I grow up. So take it back to the early 80s. I'm a third generation real estate broker, okay? My dad is a custom home builder. His father was a custom developer and broker as well. And my mom and my stepdad are current real estate brokers in California. So I grew up in the business, if you will, and hated it growing up, right? I understood, or I didn't understand at the time, if you will, that what my parents did was different from a lot of people, right? They didn't really have jobs. They didn't have bosses. They worked for themselves. And my dad had a really large company when I was growing up, and then it became a really small company after the Gulf War. But grew up hating the business, right? I wanted to play on my bike and ride around and play with friends, but I got dragged to open houses, or I got dragged to construction sites for projects and everything, and I didn't really fully get it. Right? But like everything else, when you grow up in something, it kind of gets into your brain and everything. So in college, every summer I tried to do something that was with my degree. I was getting a finance degree. So I did internships at Morgan Stanley for 2 summers. I worked for Allstate at their corporate headquarters, shout out Northbrook, Illinois, for a summer. But everything I did was a great experience, but it made me realize I didn't want to be a stockbroker, or I didn't want to work a corporate job where I had to have a name tag and work with 40,000 people or 4,000 people at the campus or whatever. So graduated college, and it was 2004, so it was after the tech bust. But before everything kind of really blew up, if you will. So the only jobs that were really being thrown around for finance students were insurance jobs or financial analysts and stuff like that. And I knew I liked the financial aspect of things, but I didn't want to stare at a spreadsheet all day, right? So it was probably about 3 months before graduation, and my dad said, have you thought about getting your real estate license? And at that point, it never crossed my mind because remember, like I said, hated the business. But I said, why not? Let's look into it. So moved up to Lake Tahoe, got my real estate license, started doing the school for it, and got the license. But again, this is 2004, didn't use it for anything other than our family stuff. So if we were buying land or if we were selling a spec, I was using my license for that, but I wasn't generating clients and working that business. So fast forward to 2008, the market obviously did what it did again. And as an employee of the development company, we realized it was time for me to kind of move on. So went to work for an investment company, circling back to my degree. And we were doing stocks, bonds, trading, but we were also doing private equity stuff. So in 2010, we started a fund that was buying foreclosures in the Sacramento area. So here we go, full circle, right? And because of our background, my background, we started to work with that fund and managing the fund, not from a sales standpoint, but just from the managing of the investment side. So did a lot of driving back and forth between Tahoe and the Sacramento Valley area, which was a lot of fun. And the fund got bigger and bigger, which was great. And we expanded. We were spending more time down in the Stockton area. And if you think Sacramento's bad, Stockton's even worse. And the fund got to a point where our boss at the time approached Sydney and I and said, okay, look, it's time to really expand. Do you want to move to Stockton full time, or do you want to move to Las Vegas? We were down here, I think the next day, maybe 2 days later, and kind of made it home. So the first 2 or 3 months the first 2 or 3 years we were doing business here, we had one client. It was our fund. It was great. Never thought about working for clients. And then Mackenzie was born. So Sid and I knew that the fund, and flipping for that matter, was slowing down the velocity. We knew we needed more than one client. So it was right around 2013 that we established Zahler Properties, so we can actually start doing the brokering, not just being an agent for stuff. And then it was 2014. It was May 2014 when Mackenzie was born. We said, okay, this is our skill set. This is where we're raising our kids. We know what we're doing. let's start working with traditional clients, if you will. So all this, growth we've had really has only been about 5 years or so, which is really exciting. As people ask, how long I've been licensed for 15 years, but really all this growth and all this stuff has just only happened in the last 5. It's an interesting story. So as usual, my parents are the ones that get the last laugh because they knew exactly what was going to happen, because that's what happens, right? We end up growing into doing something what our parents did. How many of us are lawyers that have our parents be lawyers or something like that? So, they get the last laugh as always, but as Sydney and I always like to say, if we were gonna do it, we were gonna do it our way. And the culture we've created here at Zahler Properties is our culture and nobody else's, and we're so excited to share that with you and our clients and everybody who steps in our door, either agents that work for us or people that we want to work with, helping them buy and sell houses. So that's kind of my quick story of how I became an agent. I wouldn't really call it quick. Like I said, born into it, hated it, but circled back and found the love of really helping everybody with their dreams on our own, and we're doing it our way. Thanks for watching.